Make right with God. Come and do it now. Under the cross of Jesus, I lay my burden down. It was on that old cross where Jesus shed his blood. Get it right, get it right, get it right.
Listen, God chose you to do great exploits for the kingdom. Let me say that again. I said, God chose you. Yeah, you watching right now. He chose you to do great exploits for his kingdom. So you guys, I looked up the word exploits, right? So the word exploits, it says that it is a heroic deed, right? A heroic deed, meaning that there is something that you need to be strong about, right? But God is going to equip you. He's giving you everything that you need in order to do what it is that he's called you to do. Are you hearing me? You may look at your life right now and you may say, well, you know, I don't think God could use me for anything. I don't know nothing. Or I don't think God could use me for anything. You know, I'm still struggling with this and I'm still battling with that. But show me somebody that's not battling or struggling with anything. Nobody. Nobody. I don't care who you are. You got some type of struggle, some type of battle, something. You see what I'm saying? We are all a work in progress. Nobody got their life all the way together. We all trying to get right with God. Are you hearing me? Including me. I got so much stuff that I need God to help me with. You see what I'm saying? But God uses those that have those issues, that have those problems, that are struggling with things that are... Because let me tell you guys, God uses those because those are the ones that he shapes and he molds and he makes them into who he wants them to be so that he can get the glory from their lives. So those people, when you was young and they was looking at your life and they was doubting that, you know, you would ever be anything. So when God cleans you up so good, like when he cleans you up so good and you out there and you doing whatever God has called you to do or God has put you, it's going to look like they're going to be like those, the naysayers. They're going to doubt, like, I don't know who they think they is. I don't know how they're able to do that. They don't have no experience in that. Why can they do that? You know, they not worthy to do that. They shouldn't be doing that. Like, who are they? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's how people are going to look at you. But they're only going to look at you like that because you weren't qualified, right? God qualified you, right? God qualified you, child of God. You were chosen to do great exploits for the kingdom. Handpicked to do great exploits for the kingdom. That heart that you got, you know, the heart that you got, that heart of love, that heart of kindness, that heart that feels bad when you see somebody suffering, right? That heart right there, that heart right there. Where do you think that heart came from? That heart was there before the foundations of the world. God chose your heart. Oh, yes. Like I say, don't matter what your life look like right now. Don't, y'all. This is the problem. Because many times, you guys, we think God can't use us because of, you know, what we may be battling with, or maybe what we may be struggling with, or what we may be going through, or what we may be doing that you just don't think God can use you. But everybody has been there. You see what I'm saying? Like, everybody has been in a place where I'm still struggling with this, so God can't help. God ain't going to use me because, you know, I don't even know nothing. I don't know the Bible. I don't know. Who knows everything? I'm just saying, who knows everything? Nobody. So your situation, if you're new to this, is no different than anybody else's that has been doing it for a while. Are you hearing me? Right? It's all the same thing. There's nothing new under the sun. Everybody has had some type of battle, right? Some of us still battling, still struggling, right? But God still uses the ones that are struggling because he knows that they're... See, God cleans us up over time, you guys. God cleans us up over time, right? Nobody stays filthy. But as you move in this walk with God, he begins to clean you up. You overcome this. You overcome that. You look back and be like, oh, I'm no longer there. I'm not dealing with that no more. I'm not struggling with that no more. God, I thank you for delivering me. So now you're able to tell somebody about the goodness of the Lord and what he's done in your life, child of God, right? Look at your life some years ago. Haven't you grown in God? Are you still doing what you was doing years ago? No. Because we are all a work in progress. Nobody has their life all the way together. We are all trying to get right with God. We all trying to get right with God. You were chosen, handpicked to do great exploits for the kingdom. Oh, well, I'm shy and I'm nervous and, you know, I don't really know how to speak. Okay, Remember that process of growth? Growth. You're going to actually, listen, after a while, you're going to begin to shock yourself. The boldness that God is going to give you to speak his word or to encourage people or to do whatever God is giving you to do. It's like you're going to wonder where that came from. But it's the growth. You could be shy and nervous right now, right? You could be shy and nervous and afraid and scared and don't know what to do and don't think you know nothing. I don't know no Bible and I don't know how to. Okay, we've all been there. I'm just saying, we've all been there. I know I've been there. I know I've been there. So I don't know if you feel like you're the only one, but look, God still uses those, right? But he cleans them up first. The ones that doubt that God can use them, right? Those are the very ones that he uses. Those ones that are a mess. Those that are struggling. Those that are suffering. Those that are going through. Those that are just seeming like life is not fair, right? Let me tell you what it does, you guys. It gives you a testimony, right? It gives you a testimony. It gives you something to tell somebody else about, which is going to give that person hope, right? Maybe your struggle was let's just say your struggle was drugs or whatever, right? So God allow you to, you suffer for a while or go through that period, because I went through it. That period of in your life, it looked like, oh, I'm never going to get off this. And, this going to always be my portion. And God ain't going to never change my life. And, oh, I'm just going to die doing it. Okay, take that that's how you going to feel for a while. That is how you going to feel for a while. I felt like that, right? God has a plan for your life. And that's not the plan, right? That's not the plan. That's not the plan. That is not the plan of God for your life. He says, for I know the plans that I have for you, right? He knows the plans. You don't know the plans. Don't you go by what you feel, because God's purpose for your life is not based on how you feel. Are you hearing me, right? So you just going through that right now, that nervous and that afraid and that I don't know nothing. And that's all a part of the process. God got to clean you up. You see what I'm saying? Like you need to be cleaned up. Everybody that's out there doing something for God, there's been a process of cleaning, right? Maybe they're not all the way cleaned up, but God puts them out as he feels that they're ready, right? He puts them out as he feels that they're ready. But we all are a work in progress. Let me say that again. I said, nobody has their life all the way together. We are all trying to get right with God. Oh, yes, we are all trying to get right with God. You show me somebody that's perfect. I'm saying, show me somebody that just got it all the way together. Show me somebody now. If you show me somebody that got it all the way together, I give $1 million. I don't even have $1 million to give you, so it's like you won't get it anyway. But if you could find somebody, I wouldn't have it to give you. But it's nobody, so I won't have to give it to you. Did you catch that? Did you catch it? I'm just saying, child of God, you were chosen to do great exploits. Again, like I said, we make a mistake by looking at what we struggling with and what we going through and what we dealing with right now. No, there's a process. God cleans you up. God got to clean you up. God got to clean you up. He gonna show you. Though you don't think I can ever use you because you don't know nothing, let me show you something. Let me show you something. And then what's going to happen when you get out there, child of God, you're going to look back on those days when you was so afraid and you was fearful and you didn't know the Bible and you didn't have a relationship with God and you was fornicating. Like, you're going to look back at all of them days once you get out there and you're going to say, God has brought me from a mighty long way. Oh, yes. Can anybody look over their lives and say that God has brought them from a mighty long way? Oh, yes. Look back. Have not you grown? You have grown. So those that are even out there that's doing, they're growing. They're still growing. Everybody's still growing. He who hath begun a good work in you. God started a work in you, child of God, and he's going to complete it, right? He's going to complete it. He's not going to leave you where you are. See, we the ones that start stuff and don't finish, but if God begins to do a work in your life, oh yes, you better know and believe and trust that he will complete that thing that he started in you. He's going to be cleaning us up all the way until Jesus Christ return, right? We all trying to grow, you guys, right? But you were chosen to do great exploits, right? I'm telling you now, don't look at your life Listen, you're not watching this by chance, but there's a message here. Like I say, sometimes we could feel so discouraged, I'm telling you, like, you can't look at your life right now. You just can't. You just can't. You just can't. Let me tell you, when I was younger, I mean, wilding out in the street, going to clubs and drinking it and just partying, like just doing a bunch of silliness. I would get words like this, like, God gonna use you, in a major way, but I would be like, man, you are not talking to me. I'm still drinking and I'm still drugging and, I'm still doing this and I'm still doing that. God ain't gonna never use me. I don't even, use me? How? But there was a testimony that he was building out of my life. Did you catch that? Did you catch it? There's a testimony that he's building in your life. All your struggles. That's going to end one day, you guys. That's going to end one day. I'm no longer on drugs. I'm no longer going to the club. I'm no longer... Like, that's an end thing. But while I was in it, I didn't see how God could ever use me for his glory because I was in it. Are you hearing me? But now, just like you may be in it, you're going to look back and say, I never saw my way out of that. I didn't know how. I don't know how that. I didn't see my way out of that. But that's going to be behind you. Why? Because there's a process of growth. Are you hearing me? There's a process of growth. You were chosen by God to do great exploits for the kingdom. No matter what it looks like right now, child of God. Don't lose your confidence. Don't lose your confidence now. Don't lose your confidence. I just told you my story. If I hadn't had that story, would I be able to minister to anybody about this or anything? No. So you have to get a story, right? Whatever you're struggling with, once God, you got a story. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's a story. There's a story. There is a story, right? Once God brings you out, you got a story. Bring you out the next thing, you got a story. Bring you out, like, so he's just building testimony. Like, just keep building testimony in you, right? But many times it's going to be by the things that you struggle with, the things that you suffer with, the things that you didn't think you would ever come out of. That's building the story. God has chosen you, oh yes, to do great exploits for his kingdom. He chose you before the foundations of the world. Like I say, that heart that you got for people, that heart that you got where you just easy to cry. Am I speaking to somebody? Like, easy to cry, like just so easy to cry, like easy to cry. It's because you got something in your heart. There's something in your heart. Even when you're in the presence of God, when you at church, or when you even watching a movie, it's like you so easy to cry. It's you got a good soft heart, but that heart was placed there for a reason, child of God. Through the cleanup process, just your heart has gotten softer. Your heart has gotten better. You've given up. You're not holding on to bitterness and unforgiveness and hatred, but there's a process of cleaning. Are you hearing me? The process of cleaning. Just the process of cleaning. You are growing. You are growing. But that heart, God is renewing your heart. God is changing your heart, right? You started off maybe with a bad heart, but once you gave your life to Christ, he began to renew your heart, change your heart. Created me a clean heart, God. Oh, renew my spirit. Oh, renew my spirit. Renew my spirit. Somebody needs a renewed spirit. Oh, yes. And a clean heart. Oh, yes. But God is doing it through the process. He gave me your story, right? I never saw my way out of that. It was God that did it. See what I'm saying? God leaves us sometimes, you guys, in situations that looks hopeless, because when it looks hopeless, that's when his power is really shown. When you doubt that thing, you'll ever come out of that, God is saying, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you that I'm in charge of your life, that you are not in charge. You keep leaning to your own understanding. That's what I'm saying. Look at. You don't think he could use you because you lean into your own understanding, right? That's what you're doing. You lean into your own understanding. You've been chosen, child of God, to do great exploits for the kingdom. Great exploits. And it's not no small stuff. It's not no small stuff. You feel it in your heart. What makes you want to grow closer to God? Yeah, you got some struggles, but who don't, right? But you feel it in your heart that you are special, or you feel like you different, or you just feel, you see what I'm saying? Does anybody feel like that? Like you just feel like you not like the rest. Are you hearing me? Not as anybody, but you just feel like you don't fit, right? Like you don't fit. That's because you are chosen to do great exploits for the kingdom. That thing that God is building in you, somebody needs that thing right there. Somebody needs that story, right? Somebody needs it, child of God. So know that you are chosen. You were chosen to do great exploits, right? Even before the foundations of the world, God chose you to do his work. He chose you to do his work now. He chose you to do his work. And I keep saying this, but I'm going to keep saying it because it's important. Don't look at your life right now. Do not look at your life right now. I just gave an example of how when I was in the street and I would hear these words and I was struggling with this and I was doubting that God could, God don't want to use me. I'm a filthy fool. Like, you know, I'm out here doing everything. Like, why would God use me? So when I would hear those words, just like maybe you hearing it now and you're doubting because you got some struggles, I look back at that now and it's a finished, like that's over with. I didn't see my way out, but because of the growth process. You see what I'm saying? So don't doubt, child of God. Look forward for your future. It's a great one. It's a great one now. It's a great one. That growth process. Trust me now, that growth process. Them things that you're struggling with, them things has an expiration date. I'm telling you now. No demon, no devil, no witchcraft, no voodoo, no hex, no curse, nothing can stop the will of God from coming to pass in your life. Are you hearing me? I don't care what attacks you under. God is teaching you war in the spirit. Fight back. I'm just saying, you guys, there's a purpose for all of this. Like, God is so strategic. Everything that we go through, everything we experience, like there's always some type of purpose behind it. So those things that you look at God and say, why are you allowing this, God? You don't know yet, but you got to trust and know that what you're going through is a part of his plan for your life. Are you hearing me? It's just a part of his plan for your life, right? You got to say, Lord, I may not understand why I'm going through this. I don't even want to go through this, God, but I trust you. I still thank you for it. You don't have to really give God thanks while you're for what you're going through, but while you're in it, you need to give him thanks, right? God, I thank you for cleaning me up. God, I thank you for the hard times. I thank you for the struggles. I thank you because of the wisdom that I grew through that. Do you not know your wisdom comes from your experiences, child of God, right? If you never go through anything or no hard times with anything ever in your life, do you think, what can you minister to anybody about anything ever? You can't. You need the experience. Are you hearing me? And I was reading the scripture that was talking about we are not the only ones that suffer. Your brothers and sisters all around the world are suffering with the same type of things, right? Nothing new is under the sun. Nothing new is under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. So what you going through, somebody already went through. Somebody done already overcame it. Somebody already done look back at it and say, I didn't see my way out of that. I'm just saying. Look at anybody that's doing great exploits for the kingdom. Anybody, TV preacher or online preacher or whoever. Ask them, did they have a rough start? I know I had a rough start. I had a rough start from the very beginning. Devil tried to take me out of here at birth. And many of you got the same story because there's something over your life that God has placed on you. So the devil couldn't take you out at birth, right? Because he saw that there was something special coming into this world. And here you came. Oh, yes. He said, I got to attack that one. That one going to be a problem to my kingdom. But God said, no. God put something in you, child of God, that the nations need to hear. Are you hearing me? And I'm saying that don't look at it like this is not your... You cannot look at your, like when I say the nations need to hear, that sounds so crazy because maybe you don't know much. This is what I'm saying, you guys. God, now I'm not bragging, but I'm teaching. I'm not bragging, but I'm teaching, right? God sent me to Africa. He sent me to Liberia. He sent me to Nigeria, right? He sent me to London. He sent me to Kenya, preaching the gospel. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you think, so when I say God has called you, nations need to hear what you got. Listen at my example. I was a dirty dog, wretched man that I am, struggling with sin of all kind, but God still used me. You see what I'm saying? He still used me for nations, just like you, child of God. Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. God got a way of doing things that you do not understand. You don't know how your life is going to turn up. You don't know how it's going to turn out. Like I said, look at your life now. I'm telling you, I'm speaking to somebody. I'm speaking to somebody when I say you feel like you don't know much. You know, like you feel like you got so much growing to do. You do. But remember the process, the growth process. Like I said, you're going to look back one day. You see what I'm saying? So child of God, be encouraged. You know, God has chosen you to do great exploits for his kingdom. You know, before the foundations of the world, God has already ordained you to do his work, right? He'd already ordained you to be a prophet to the nations. And I know that sounds far-fetched. Oh, yes. I know it sounds far-fetched, but it's just the growth process. You see what I'm saying? It's the process. Everybody goes through the process before God puts them out of there. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, child of God, just be encouraged and, you know that God is watching over you very closely. You are special to the kingdom. You feel different because you are. God is watching. Listen. It don't matter what you're going through. It's part of God's process. It's part of God's process. So God has to be careful with, like he watches you very closely, very carefully, because you can't go off too far. You can't do too much. You just can't. God is watching you. The moment you start going off track, he'll snatch you and put you right back on the road that you're supposed to. Oh, you done got into the wrong relationship. Let me break that up. I need to put you back on track. Oh, you done got involved in this? I'm going to break that up. I got to put you right on track because I know that I have something great that I've called you to, right? And your assignment is too important for God to let you go off too far. He'll keep pulling you back. And that's those things that seem like that ain't fair. When you say that ain't fair, God is pulling you back to the road that you're supposed to be on. Why can't I go to this certain place to live? Why can't I get in this relationship? God, that ain't fair. He's pulling you back. He is pulling you back, putting you right on track because you're going too far off. Let's say you want to move to a place, but that place is not ordained for you to be. Got to pull you right back. It won't work. He'll put you right back on track now. I got a special road that I'm leading you on. I got a destiny for you, but you got to stay on my road. I can't just let you do what you want to do. You have been chosen to do great exploits for the kingdom. Oh, yes, you've been chosen to do great exploits for the kingdom, right? That job that you wanted, that job was probably going to take you off track. So God said, I got to let them fire you and put you right back on track. You go this way. You see what I'm saying? You go this way. Your road, God is already leading your footsteps, guiding your footsteps. That place where God is ordained for you to be, that's where you got to get to. So the devil going to do all he can to keep you from getting there. Are you hearing me? He going to do all he can to keep you from getting there. He going to send a narcissist into your life. He going to play with your mind. He going to send the witchcraft into your life. He going to send all of these things. The devil's but it's just part of the process. Remember the growth? Remember the growth I was talking about? Remember the growth? That's part of the process of growth. It is. I'm telling you, every experience. Oh, yes, it's going to help you when you get to your place of purpose. Are you hearing me? Even before you get there, the experience that you had, you're going to be able to share those things to tell somebody else. Don't give up. No matter what it looked like. I didn't see my way out of this. You're going to be able to minister that to somebody. But God had to allow you to go through it. He had to bring you out of it and then give you the story. And somebody else that's going through what you're going through needs your story. It's not even for you. God got somebody else in mind. Are y'all hearing the Spirit of God preach on this video tonight? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So be encouraged. Be encouraged. Be encouraged now. You're going to look back one day. I'm telling you, you're going to look back one day and just be like, wow, I didn't think I could be here. I didn't think I could be doing this. And somebody else that feels like they can't be doing it can look at your story. You see what I'm saying? And they could give them hope that, okay, you could tell them, don't look at your life right now. I was probably worse than you are right now. But just hold on to God's unchanging hand, and you could tell them about the process, the cleaning up process. You see what I'm saying? So eventually, one day, they're going to be used by God, but they need your story. You see what I'm saying? But if you don't go through it, you won't have a story, right? You won't have a story. So it's all a part of your story. It's all a part of your story. All right, child of God. So again, be encouraged. Don't worry about what you're going through right now. And I know that seems bad to say that because, of course, we should live holy. Of course, we should do our best, to live righteous. Of course, now, of course. But, who has it all? Like, we all trying. You see what I'm saying? I always say this. What we can do, you guys, is try our best to do our best. That's all that we can do. All right. We could try our best to do our best. And we're not even doing it in our own strength, but it's Jesus Christ that's helping us, right? It's not our own strength. That's all we can do. After a while, you keep trying your best. God sees that you're putting forth effort. Then he'll bring you right out of that situation. That thing will be a thing of the past. You'll look back and be like, oh, I don't even struggle with that no more. Wow. It's because you tried your best to do your best. You see what I'm saying? God knows we can't overcome on our own. He has to supernaturally step in divinely and help us, you guys. He got to do that, right? He got to do it. Like, you can't do it on your own. But sometimes God got to allow you to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. You get at your wits' end and say, God, something got to change. Something got to change now. Something got to change. Because it ain't changing. It's not changing. God, I need you to step in and change it. Oh, yes. You got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. You see what I'm saying? So God allow that sin to just, like get a hold of you. So in a way, he know he going to bring you out, but that thing will weaken you to the point where you just like, I can't do this no more. I'm tired of this. Nothing is changing. It's just a never-ending cycle. I got to do something different, right? You know the meaning of the word insanity? Insanity means to do the same thing and expect something different to happen. No, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same outcome. So something has to change. You see what I'm saying? Something got to change, and it's God that has to step in and make the change or help you make the change. You see what I'm saying? But you got to be trying your best to do your best. Again, God sees your effort. He knows if you are trying or if you just using his grace or however you're doing it, child of God, right? But be encouraged, y'all. Be encouraged, Be encouraged. God is with you. God is helping you. You were chosen for this, right? That's why you feel like that. You see what I'm saying? That's why you feel like that. You know what I'm talking about. Somebody know exactly what I'm talking about. You don't feel regular. You don't. Because you're not regular. You are not regular. Oh, yes. You ain't regular. You're peculiar. Oh, yes. Right? Well, we thank God, you guys. But be encouraged, Again, don't look at your life right now. But you were chosen to do great exploits for the kingdom. All right, you guys. Be blessed.
Better make right with God. Come and do it now. Under the cross of Jesus, I lay my burden down. It was on that old cross